class, we are going to talk about second category or second variety of discharge lamp, that is a mercury vapor lamp. So this mercury vapor lamp, again we have got two types of mercury vapor lamp available: high pressure mercury vapor lamp and low pressure mercury vapor lamp. We are going to talk about high pressure mercury vapor lamp now, following which we are going to talk about a low pressure mercury vapor lamp. Now let's start with the constructional details of the high pressure mercury vapor lamp. So here you are observing the structure or schematic of high pressure mercury vapor lamp. Okay, it has got a AC or DC supply, anything can be used. Okay, the one you are observing here is with an AC supply. Okay, which is initially having a condenser or a capacitor at the input. Next you are having a choke. The capacitor is used as a power factor correction device here, and obviously the choke. Okay, this is used to mitigate or control the high starting currents. Okay, so next you have got two electrodes. Okay, one is the main electrode and second one is auxiliary starting electrode. The main electrodes are one at the top and another one at the bottom in the internal tube. Okay, you have got two tubular structures. Okay, one outside and one inside or internal. You have got a dummy electrode, that is an auxiliary starting electrode, connected near one of the main electrodes. Now this particular glass tubes, okay, they are made up of either hard glass or quartz. Okay, we generally prefer hard glass only, as quartz is a little costly metal, and outer bulb also it is made up of hard glass only, and it contains the tube that we are talking about, the internal, it contains a small amount of mercury gas in its gas form. In addition to two main electrodes, an auxiliary starting electrode is also connected. This is connected through a high resistance, about 50 kilo ohms. Now the main electrode consists of tungsten coils with electron emitting coating or elements of thorium metal. Either of this you can use, either tungsten coils with electron emitting coating or elements of thorium metal. So this you are observing in this particular structure. The R you are observing here, it's a 50 kilo ohm resistor of high resistance. The remaining parts you can observe. Let's understand the working principle of this high pressure mercury vapor lamp. Now whenever you are switching on the supply, initial discharge takes place for few seconds in the argon gas between the auxiliary starting electrode and the neighboring main electrode. Okay, and then in argon between the two main electrodes. Okay, there will be a discharge between auxiliary main electrode and the main electrode, the ones in the upper side of the tube, auxiliary starting electrode and the main electrode. So first a discharge happens between these two electrodes, and then a discharge happens between the two main electrodes. Now the heat produced due to this discharge through the gas, it is sufficient to vaporize your mercury. The mercury now will be converted from gaseous state to vaporous state. Consequently, what happens? Pressure inside the arc tube increases to about 1 to 2 atmospheres, and potential difference across the main electrode grows from about 20 to 130 volts. So this entire operation takes place in about 5 to 7 minutes. The operation time, I've already told that discharge lamps, okay, either sodium vapor or mercury vapor, until they attain their full temperature, full working full brightness, it will take some time. So minimum 10 minutes. So here it is 7 minutes. So during this time, discharge is established through the mercury vapors. Now this is going to emit a greenish blue light. Okay, this greenish blue light we are observing it as white light. Now the choke is provided to limit the current to safer value. The starting current limiter, the choke, and the choke lowers the power factor. So capacitor is connected across the circuit to improve the power factor. Okay, the efficiency of this type of lamp is 30 to 40 lumens per watt. These particular lamps are manufactured in two different watt ranges, 250 watts and 400 watts. Okay, they usually go with a main supply of 200 to 250 volts AC single phase. Generally, these lamps are used in industrial lighting, railway yards, ports, dockyards, work areas, shopping centers, etc. This is application where greenish blue light is not an objection to the human eyes. We don't need to read anything, a book, or we don't need to look into something like a television or a computer or a mobile phone, etc. So where eye strain is not a constraint, there and all you are going to use these type of lamps. We can use these type of lamps. The next lamp we are going to observe is a fluorescent lamp or fluorescent tube. So this is a low pressure mercury vapor lamp. A fluorescent tube or a fluorescent lamp, it is otherwise called a low pressure mercury vapor lamp. Now fluorescent lighting, it has a great advantage over other light sources in many applications because they can be obtained in variety of lengths with illumination in a variety of colors. So owing to these particular advantages, it is possible to achieve quite high lighting intensities without excessive temperatures, and owing to the nature of light sources, danger of glare is also minimized. So fluorescent tubes are a very popular tubes. The tube light you are observing, మన ఇంట్లో ఇంతకుముందు ఎల్ఈడి ట్యూబ్స్ ఇప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఇంతకుముందు మనం యూజ్ చేసేటివి ఫ్లోరసెంట్ ల్యాంప్స్, ఫ్లోరసెంట్ ట్యూబ్ లైట్స్, అవన్నీ ఇవే అప్లికేషన్స్. సో దట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ అ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ లో ప్రెషర్ మెర్క్యూరీ వేపర్ ల్యాంప్. So the efficiency of mercury vapor lamp is 40 lumens per watt, about 3 times the efficiency of equivalent tungsten filament lamp. We are going to compare both things in this next unit anyway. So this is the structure of a fluorescent tube or a fluorescent lamp. You have got a switch, a starting switch, okay, connected to the power supply. You've got a choke, then the other end of this particular choke through the power supply negative is connected to one sides of your structure in which you are having the electrodes. The long tube you are observing, that the tube structure, you can vary the sizes, you can vary the internal material, okay, to vary the color. And you have also got a starter. Okay, మనం మన ఫ్లోరసెంట్ ట్యూబ్స్లో ఇంతకుముందు యూజ్ చేస్తే కన్వెన్షనల్గా, ఇప్పుడు కాదు, మీ చిన్నప్పుడు చూస్తుంటే విల్ బీ హ్యావింగ్ స్మాల్ సర్క్యులర్ సిలిండ్రికల్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ఇన్ సిల్వర్, okay, or white. They are starters we used to have. In case if the light is fluctuating to start, we take the help of starter to start the thing. So it is nothing but a resistance, a changing resistance in series with a in parallel with a capacitor, that is used to adjust the starting currents and start your tube, I mean conduction in the tube, in the gas, mercury vapor gas that is present between the two electrodes in the long tube. Here you are observing. Now let us see some more details about this low pressure mercury vapor lamp. It is a low pressure mercury vapor lamp. Due to the low pressure, The lamp is in the form of a long tube coated inside with phosphor. Just hold on a second. The tube contains a small amount of mercury and a small amount of argon gas, okay, at a pressure of 2.5 mm of mercury. At each end of the tube, the electrodes, they are of spiral form made out of tungsten. Okay, the two electrodes you are observing inside the long tube, okay, in the form of a filament. You are observing two electrodes in the form of a filament. These are tungsten electrodes. So these are spiral. These are made up of tungsten and coated with electron emitting material. Also, understand? Just hold on a second. మీరు ట్రిపుల్ ఇయా ట్రిపుల్ ఈ సెకండ్ ఇయరా okay. Next, it is also having a choke connected in series with the tube filament. It is providing a voltage impulse for starting the lamp, and also it acts as a ballast later when the lamp is running. Okay, ballast in order to limit the high starting current. The filament is connected to a starter switch, which is small cathode glow lamp with a bimetal strip at the electrodes. So choke you are observing here, okay, and the switch you are observing here. Okay, both are connected in series with the power supply, okay, that is connected to the one of the ends of the electrodes, okay, that is your tungsten electrode here inside the tube. Let us understand the working of this fluorescent tube or fluorescent lamp. When the starter is cold, the electrodes, they are as good as open circuit, they are open. When we are giving the supply, full voltage acts on the starter. Now when the full voltage is acting on the starter, you observe a discharge, a glow discharge is being set up in the starter. This warms the electrodes and causes the bimetal strip to bend and touch the electrodes. So the circuit becomes a complete series circuit. And next what happens? Current flows and causes emission of free electrons from the tungsten filaments. At the same time, voltage at the starter falls to 0 and the bimetal strip cools down. So the electrodes of the starter switch then open and interrupt the current in the circuit. So this is how a discharge is happening, and you are making a closed circuit out of an open circuit for your electrodes, and this discharge, okay, is in the place of a low pressure mercury along with an inert gas here, an argon, to have your discharge converted into a light source, heat energy converted to light energy. It efforts to induce high voltage surge of about 1000 volts in the choke. So what happens of inducing 1000 volts in the choke? This voltage, it produces flow of electrons. So this flow of electrons happens between the electrodes and the lamp lights up immediately. Then starting contacts are left open. So once the starting contacts are left open, we are having your continuous power flow, okay, given, so that the continuous flow of electrons, that is ionization of the mercury vapor and the inert gas continuously taking place, and you are observing a continuous light being emitted out of your fluorescent tube, which you are observing as your tube light, white light. In order to improve the power factor, we are using a capacitor at the starting that is connected across the power supply terminals. Okay, this is about 4 microfarad capacity. But this fluorescent tube, it suffers from an important disadvantage called stroboscopic effect. Now let us understand what is this stroboscopic effect. This is otherwise called flickering effect. Okay, this is produced only in fluorescent lamps. This is due to periodic fluctuations in the light output of a lamp caused by cyclic variations of your AC current. Okay, in the circuit you are giving AC supply. Okay, it's a circulating current, that means time varying quantity. So obviously you will be having variations of current, and this phenomenon creates multi-image appearance of moving objects. Okay, and makes the movement sometimes appear to be jerky. So this is more pronounced at lower frequencies. If the frequency of operation is something less than 50 hertz, okay, frequency of operation, it changes, you observe this kind of effect. The frequency of such flickers is twice the supply frequency. It's about 2 times the supply frequency, about 100 hertz. So this effect is reduced to some extent after glow, as the fluorescent powder used in the tube is slightly phosphorescent. So we are going to use fluorescent powder, okay, to reduce the effect of stroboscope or flickering. Okay, this phosphorescent powder reduces the image wavering or image flickering when you are observing some images or objects in this particular light. So what is the main disadvantage of this stroboscopic effect? Of course, it's a very troublesome effect. But what happens in this effect? What happens to the operator when he works? An operator has to move objects very quickly, particularly those having polished finish. So these objects would appear to move with a jerky motion with over a long period. Example, you want to perform a weld operation. Okay, on a brass is a very smooth polished metal. Okay, so when the image is jerky or moving, the amount of weld you are observing also wavers. You will not be able to have a smooth finish of the weld. You have seen welding process in the previous unit. Okay, so this is because of the fatigue, visual fatigue produced by the stroboscopic effect, number one. And in case of rotating machines whose frequency of rotation happens to be a multiple of the flicker frequency, what is the multiple of the flicker frequency? 2 times we have seen. So the machines appear to decrease in speed of rotation or be stationary. Sometimes machines may even seem to rotate in opposite direction. Okay, whenever you observe earlier your fluorescent tubes or your general tube lights in presence, if you observe, okay, you observe a fan. Many might have observed this. You observe a fan. You observe the fan usually rotating in clockwise direction only, but you continuously observe it. Okay, in the presence of a tube light, general tube light, fluorescent tube, you observe fan sometimes moving in the reverse direction. Okay, so but it does not move in the reverse direction. It appears to the eyes to be that it moves in the reverse direction. So this kind of effect is called stroboscopic effect. So this is very, very dangerous. Okay, when you are talking about machinery, electrical rotating machinery you handle in a workplace, in a workstation, okay, industries, induction machines. So this is very, very dangerous for an operator to handle. So how do we minimize the stroboscopic effect? So stroboscopic effect, it can be minimized by employing 3 different steps. By using 3 lamps on separate phases of a 3-phase supply. Okay, by using a twin lamp circuit on a single phase supply either. One of the chokes having a capacitor in series with it, and also with the lamp. And one more technique is by operating the lamp from high frequency, okay, from a very high frequency supply. Okay, so this usually is not achieved as our supply frequency is constant. So usually people have the concept of DC supply. Okay, whenever general domestic supply, when you are using fluorescent tubes or lamps, the stroboscopic effect generally doesn't distract your eyesight. But when you are using this fluorescent tubes or lamp industry, this is a trouble causing scheme. So people using these particular lamps earlier, not now, anyway all the lamps now are replaced with LED lighting only. Earlier, they used to have DC supply connected to the fluorescent tubes. So this completely rectifies the stroboscopic effect. Okay, ఫ్లోరసెంట్ ట్యూబ్స్ని ఇగ్నైట్ చేయడానికి ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ ఏసీ డీసీ సప్లై యూస్ చేసేవాళ్ళు. ఇక్కడ డీసీ సప్లై యూస్ చేసినప్పుడు మనము హై స్టార్టింగ్ కరెంట్స్ వస్తాయి అనే బాధ లేదు. వీ నీడ్ నాట్ యూజ్ అ బెలాస్ట్ and we need not make use of any power factor correction scheme also. Capacitor or condenser at the starting of your power supply need not be connected. But yes, of course, the DC supply, when you are using, you need a rectification circuit, okay, from AC to DC. Okay, that this cost reduced again appears as a cost there. Okay, so anyway, but that owing to the advantage of the elimination of stroboscopic effect, it might not affect as much. Understand? Let's talk about the merits and also the demerits of the fluorescent lamps. So talking about the merits, fluorescent lamps have high luminous efficiency, they have very long life, they have a low running cost. Okay, running cost of the fluorescent tubes in comparison to tungsten bulbs or tungsten filament lamps, it's very less. Low glare level, less heat output. And talking about the demerits, stroboscopic effect obvious, we have seen much about it. And in the external, there definitely might be one question in one of the 4 sets, or at least in 2 sets, one question related to stroboscopic effect. Definitely this is a very important concept. And a small wattage requiring large number of fittings, and magnetic hum associated with choke causing disturbance. Choke usually makes a sound, okay, zing and sound vasta untudi. Magnetic hum, that is magnetization effect observed in the choke. Choke is nothing but a magnetic coil, it's nothing but an inductor. Choke ante em ledhu, inductor undi ante meeku definitely ga magnetic effect untundi. Magnetic effect undi ante meeku circulating magnetic fields ఉంటాయి. Circulating magnetic field ఉందంటే obvious గా you will be having magnetic hum. So this is resulting in some noise levels. Okay, so these are the merits and also the demerits of fluorescent lamps.